So I'm replacing the ignition switch on my John Deere 650, and I think that's the issue. Last week, all of a sudden, when I would turn the key, the lights wouldn't come on. Usually the alternator and the starter light come on when you turn it to accessory, and those quit coming on. But it would intermittently do it, so I would sometimes start it and it would be fine, and then 10 minutes later I'd shut it off, go do something else and turn it back on, and it would not work. And so I tested the battery. It was 12 volts, everything was fine there. None of the wires looked burnt or any weird or anything like that, but the old ignition looked pretty corroded, and so I went ahead and bought this on Amazon. It's an aftermarket ignition switch here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take some notes for the current ignition, make sure I get the wires all lined up, and swap this out, see if that fixes the issue. But got my new hat on. I was pretty excited. I got this yesterday from our Amish neighbors. They actually made this custom for me. So they measured my head and got it made for me. So homemade straw hat. I was pretty excited for that. But yeah, go ahead and follow along, see what we can do. So I've got all of the wires corresponding with this current ignition and the new ignition. And so hopefully I can line them up. The one thing that's different on this new ignition is this has an accessory tab, and the old one does, but it's broke off. So I wonder if that's the issue, is it just broke off. I don't see any loose wires in there, so I'm not sure what that's about, but when I take it all apart, we'll find out. I'm hoping it's just corroded and this is just an extra tab, but we'll see. So we'll see what happens. So I got this old one off here, and it looks pretty much identical. Yeah, the only thing that's missing on this old one is this little tab here. Yeah, it looks like it's broken off. And so on this one is the accessory tab. So I don't see any wires that are missing, so I don't know what that's about. But I'm just gonna plug them all in, how they were on the old one, match them all up, and then we'll go from there, see if we need to make any adjustments. It is pretty tight. I'm sure there's a way you can take this whole steering column cover off, but I'm guessing you gotta take everything off, and I don't want to mess with that, so I can just suffer for a little bit. So I found this red wire that was loose. There's actually 2 red wires, but this one wasn't hooked up to anything. And I wonder if it was kind of sitting on that bracket. Nothing's broke off inside, but it could have been sitting on there somehow. I don't know. I'm not gonna hook it up yet. I'm gonna hook up everything else and see, but that is an option. So I think I figured it out, and I'm not sure if it was the ignition. I'm gonna say hopefully it is, but even if it's not, I'm gonna keep the same one on there, just so it's new wiring or new connections and all that. So there's this red jumper, and I wasn't sure where it went to. It was on one of these prongs here, so I traced it down, and it's this red one. They must have put it on after the fact, but it goes all the way down through this kind of mess of wires, and then it just hooks directly up to the starter here. So I had the key on accessory and the lights on just so I could, you can hear them clicking now, so that way I could easily tell once it started. And it wasn't going until I started messing with this jumper, this red wire here. And so I think something is loose on this red wire, somewhere between this harness here, up the line here. So I'm gonna trace that back and try to figure out if there actually is something loose, or maybe it just wasn't plugged in all the way down here. I'm not sure. Either way, I'm gonna keep the same ignition on there. I now have 2 keys instead of 1, which is nice. I still haven't figured out what this is for. It feeds all the way up into this wiring tube here, so I'm not quite sure, but sounds like I'm going for now. I'm gonna kind of do a little more research on that, but I think we're good to go. So I think I got it going for now. I think there is something loose down there, which I'm gonna check that out, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to start it to make sure it's actually gonna work here. So, and then I'll put everything back together. Running. So I got it to run. Still think trace wires back down and make sure there's nothing loose, because I don't want to have any other electrical issues down the line, but we'll see what we can do. You wanna wake Tractor Ted up? Yeah?
He knows waking up.
You wanna wake him up?